So what do you think of Chris Hansen as a guest?
I thought it was good. It was nice having him on. He's a really accomplished guy. Like when when I said whatever, I was like, yeah, forget about all those Emmys. He's won like 7 Emmys or something.
I was hoping he won Emmys when you said that. I was like, how awkward would that be if he just, forget about all those Grammys. Like, I don't win Grammys.
Nah, that guy's got like 7 fucking Emmys. He's a really accomplished journalist. He's done a lot of cool stuff. Like he really did. Like he was the main guy covering 9/11 on NBC. He was the main guy covering Columbine on NBC. I can't think of any of the other stories off the top of my head, but he's a big deal. And so it was cool talking to him. I really meant everything I said. I really am a fan of the guy. I love To Catch a Predator in particular.
I wonder how he feels about that show. Like, Catch a Predator, to me, has defined Chris Hansen. Is he happy with that definition? Or, would he rather be Brian Williams today? Well, he's not a perfect example, but
I don't think we don't watch enough. I feel like he does a lot of different things. Like he's done several shows that are kind of sneaking around and going after bad people on the internet or people who do scams. Like he mentioned that being in Africa or whatever, he was going after those people who do the African Prince internet scam. So he's done a lot of those type shows. I don't know how he feels about it. I'm sure it pays well. Maybe it pays better than, being a journalist in the traditional sense as he once did over at NBC. I know he's not working with NBC anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't know it pays better. I would bet that it pays better than, I'm just guessing, than
than being a pedophile. Absolutely.
Yes. I would bet that it pays better than the job he might have, which is like a Philadelphia news anchor or something like that. But at the very, very top of the field, the Brian Williams or I don't even know who else. That's probably the highest paying gig.
Yeah,
but that's the
he
number
wouldn't
one
be a Brian
guy.
Williams.
There's
no way.
I think he was right there. I mean, he worked with Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric and all those people. Like he was right there, like maybe one tier below them. But I don't know if he wasn't the nightly news anchor, but he's like one spot below that.
Is that really one spot below though?
Yeah, I think so.
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I my guess is
7
that,
Emmys. What's that other, like the Cecil B. DeMille Award or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, but he made a career in front of the camera, and that itself is a rare thing. There are a lot of people who want that job. If you ever work in California, I don't think anyone here has, but everyone wishes they were an actor, and not everyone, but so many people wish they were actors. It seems like if you're in a group of 5, one of them is an actor. Just wishing, hoping that their break comes to them. And, he actually makes a living, not acting so much, but, in front of the camera, and that's a rare deal. And it's a good gig.
Yeah, I like talking to him. I liked, I'm trying to think some of the stuff he said that I thought was particularly good. I liked some of the stories about the people on the show and kind of knowing the inner workings and all that stuff. That's cool. I really am looking forward to that new show, and I love his new way of going at it, where they're going to potentially be like, so the guy makes contact with the decoy on a Monday, and sometimes it seems that they've been talking for weeks in advance, so they figure out who this guy is by Wednesday, and it's 2 or 3 weeks later before he actually arrives at the decoy house. So there's a scenario where they're following this guy to work. They're seeing what his family life is like. They know who his friends are. They're like giving you his whole bio long before he makes it to the decoy house, like basically stalking him. You go and you see him buying that 6-pack of Bartles and James to take to the underage girl, the whole thing. I think that'll be good. And then you follow him afterwards, up until maybe sentencing. That'd be neat.
Yeah, up until he kills himself.
That did happen to that one guy.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I would definitely watch that.
Sorry, I just wanted to scroll that stuff off screen so that there was no possibility I could possibly share it.
Hey, yeah. That whole last 3 paragraphs is just private stuff. Well, I probably don't want to.
Yeah, it like if I were to like accidentally drag this window to the side and like show that or something, that would be awful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clear them. There we go. Yeah, I got it all.
Yeah, there's. Those are not my secrets you typed in there.
No, those were other people's secrets we were typing.
Yeah.
We are secret keepers. You see that? Well, I mean, Woody knows, but Woody's a secret keeper too. That's why I told him. And I don't know about Taylor. He could tell everybody, I guess.
I'll tell everyone. I'm going to tweet about it right after this.
He's live tweeting the Skype feed. Like,
Woody let something slip today.
yeah, I thought it was cool he came on. I thought it was cool he sent us all these fucking mugs. You know, all of our
Oh,
mugs.
these are
Yeah,
nice.
yours
For those
says
of you listening, it's a picture of him with his arms crossed. It says PKA, and it says Kyle, have a seat. And we all got one, of course. Of course, Taylor's doesn't say Kyle, have a seat. It says Taylor, and Woody says Woody. It was really funny. I was so narcissistic. Originally, I was like, oh yeah, I got this mug. Yours say Woody on it, or like for a split second, my brain was like, did everybody say Kyle? Such an asshole. But yeah, these are cool. I appreciate them, and
it's funny because I was all hopping steaming. I was mad last week when they didn't show, and then it was furthered by being improperly handled. They're like, yeah, sorry, he was stuck in traffic for 4 hours, and his booking agent was also stuck in traffic for 4 hours. And none of them had cell phones, or they were in an area in the United States where traffic occurs, but there's no phones there, or whatever the story was. It was like, dude, I'm 6 states away from you, and I can smell the horse shit.
Yeah, I think like an assistant or something basically lied to us, and then what actually had happened, it turned out, was there was just like no one ever informed Chris that he was supposed to be here. That's what
Right.
it turned out. Like it seemed like maybe the assistant had fucked up or something like that, but he made up for it as far as I'm concerned. Showed up, did a good job.
Me
I
too,
appreciate
right?
it.
So the second part of that was going to be like she started working with a different booking agent. I don't know who the first person was. One might have been an assistant. The other could have been an agent. I don't know. But then that person got like super communicative. Usually Chiz is the one who like writes twice for every time he gets a reply. But in this case, it was the opposite. They really got on top of it. They made sure it was right. They like overnighted us coffee mugs, which makes me... I'm really cheap. Like my forgiveness apparently is like $1.99, but it worked. I'm like, it says Woody right the fuck on it.
I'm the same way. When I saw, like, I was a little bit pissed about him not showing up last week, where I was like, God damn it. And then I saw this today, and now I was like, you know what? He's a pretty swell guy.
Right? Yeah, so for the price of one coffee mug, I'm no longer frustrated at all. And he came on and he did the show. When I got a little...
like, he didn't do like, all right, so he's made these for other people, right? So there's one for Jimmy Kimmel in it, but he personalized it. He put the PKA thing on there. It's not like he had the same thing, and he put Kyle in, and I'm sure he did these by hand himself. So that really,
yes.
no, I appreciate the cup.
What else was I going to say?
Yeah, you have a thought.
When I went a little off track, right? I think we talked about. Someone mentioned oral, right, for the mermaid thing. I think it might have been Taylor, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I was like, "All right." So he probably wouldn't like the rest of the show so much. He wouldn't want to give his opinions on how to set up threesomes.
Yeah, he flinched when Mercadurka said faggot during the first 5 minutes of the show.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That got by me. Oh, did you call me a faggot? What'd you say faggot about? I forget.
It wasn't.
I think it was directed to me.
I don't think it was faggot.
You yelled faggot.
It was
5 minutes into
faggot.
the show.
Yeah, what was it?
Then that was it.
It was about me though, right? It wasn't like you weren't
I
actually.
appreciate that.
It wasn't actually an anti-gay thing at all, though. I think you were just making fun of me.
I think so.
Or making light of something else. It wasn't like, those faggots keep sucking dick and I won't stand for it. He didn't say that. It was something else. It was like, those faggots at the DMV.
Yeah.
I
It was
saw
Kyle that